Hey family, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. Make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel and make sure that you hit the notification button to see when I post. I'm posting home tours and real estate news in the Washington, D.C. metro area every week. So like I was saying, we reading this article today about why millennials are less equipped to buy homes than baby boomers are in this 2023 market. The thing that we need to talk about is equity and what we call time in the market. See, the thing about baby boomers, a lot of them have been homeowners for literally decades. So they have a lot of time in the market instead of trying to time the market. You have a lot of people these days that are waiting for interest rates to go down. Maybe even they're waiting on potentially home prices to go down. So instead of buying their home and riding it out, or buying their home with maybe a slightly higher interest rate than they may want, waiting for interest rates to go down and then they can always refinance, a lot of them are waiting for interest rates to go down or maybe even home prices go down. Listen, this video is not to try to persuade you to do something that you don't want to do, whereas buy a home before you're ready, because at the end of the day, like I always say, the best time to buy a home is when you and you alone feel like you're ready. But I hear too many people that say that they're waiting on interest rates to go down or potentially home prices to go down in the way of the market crashing to where they're waiting on that before they buy their home. I personally wouldn't do that because, number one, we don't know when interest rates are going to go down. We do think that it's going to be sometime maybe 2024, maybe 2025. No one really truly knows, and I don't even want to speculate because I'm just kind of telling you what some of my lenders have told me. But at the end of the day, none of us really truly know when interest rates are going to go down and or if home prices go down at all. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, especially in the Washington, D.C. metro market where I sell at, I don't see home prices going down anytime soon. The thing about interest rates going down, similar to the pandemic, is when interest rates go down, typically home prices are going to go up. The reason being is if you're waiting on interest rates to go down, you're not the only one doing that. There's other people that are waiting for interest rates to go down as well. So when they do, natural economics says if interest rates go down, so demand goes up, then prices typically are going to go up too because there's not enough inventory there. So if demand's going up for homes in the way of interest rates going down and people have been waiting on that, prices are going to naturally go up because there's not enough inventory out there. So if you're waiting on an interest rate, I'm not going to tell you not to do that, but just know you're going to have a lot of competition and you're probably going to end up paying more for the house than you would have if you would have bought it with a higher interest rate. Also, something to remember too, like we talk about, timing the market instead of time in the market is two, of course, totally different things. A lot of people try to time the real estate market, meaning, again, they're waiting on an interest rate to go down or they're waiting on something specific, the home price to hit a certain number that they're comfortable with or something like that. Timing the market is so hard that it's almost nearly impossible to time the market. I've sold a lot of real estate, over 100 million in my career. I've worked with over 250 unique clients in my career, and I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea how to time the market. I'll give you an example. I had a client about 2 years ago that was very, very interested in buying a home. It was a home that he saw that he liked in Silver Spring, Maryland. And he decided to pass on the house because he felt like he didn't want to compete, because that was when the pandemic was still going on. Buying a home was still a very competitive sport. So he decided that he didn't want to compete for the house. He didn't want to pay, even though interest rates were still really low, he didn't want to pay the price for the house. Keep in mind, now 2 years later, I just randomly looked at the house because it popped up. I was looking at a house in the neighborhood and I remembered that street and I was like, that street sounds really familiar. And I looked back through my emails and I saw the house that my client was interested in. And the house is now worth about 100,000 more in 2 years than he would have bought it for. Meaning he was out of $100,000 worth of equity. I'll give you another example. I have other clients that bought before the pandemic. Granted, they didn't know a pandemic was coming. Nobody did. They bought in 2019. And 4 years later, we're in 2023 now, they're up $200,000 in equity. But had they waited, had they not bought their home when they did, had they tried to time the market instead of getting time in the market, they would be out of $200,000 worth of equity. And you may be asking, Chris, what's the point of equity? Why do we need it? What can you do with it? Home equity is one of the biggest wealth creators in America. Here's how. So if you take the example of my clients that bought their home and 4 years later, they're up $200,000 in equity. It's a couple of things they can do with that to access that equity, to get it out. First, they can sell the house. If they want to upgrade, take part of the money, there are fees, state taxes that you pay, commissions, things like that. But if you wanted to sell your house and take the profit, they'd walk away with most likely about $150,000 cash that they can do whatever they want with. They can buy another house with it and still have money left over. Or they can do a cash out refinance. They can keep the house, they can refinance, take part of the equity out, and still keep the house and do whatever they want to do with the equity that they get from the cash out refinance. Or third, they can do a home equity line of credit, or as we call it, a HELOC. You can get essentially like a credit card secured by your home, and you can access part of your equity there. You don't have to use the whole thing, but you can buy additional properties with that. You can pay off debt if you want to do that. You can do things to then, hopefully, my opinion, buy other assets to make you more money. But there's ways to access the equity there. But if they had never bought the home, they wanted to wait for the perfect time to buy, they wouldn't have access to that money. So we say you don't want to wait and try to time the market. You want to get in as soon as you're ready. Now, don't just jump out there and buy anything because you want to get in the market. But the biggest thing and the most important thing, and how baby boomers, they're saying, are more equipped to buy homes in this market, is because they've had time in the market, most of them. A lot of them have been homeowners for a long time. They built up significant equity over that time. And once they sell and downsize, a lot of them, as the study showed, a lot of them are selling and downsizing. They have a lot of money that they can put up. They can go 20% down conventional, which is very attractive to a seller. They have, they can go as is because they have money to do repairs if they need to. They don't have to ask for closing assistance because they have the money from the sale of their house to then put toward buying their next one. So the biggest thing to remember is to not try to time the market. Buy when you feel like you're ready, but be so in tune with having time in the market versus timing the market that everything else doesn't even really matter. So not trying to time the market, but keep timing market, let your money work for you, build equity there, and you have a winning formula. But as always, make sure that you like and subscribe. Make sure that you hit the notification button so you see when I post. I have more real estate reaction and home tours coming for you. And if there's any particular content that you want to see, make sure that you drop it in the comments. I would love to post what you want to see. Until next time, appreciate you guys.